Hello and welcome back. So Maria McMahon here with you again. So in the series so far, the red flag series, we've covered 26 red flags to be aware of in the early stages of the relationship and getting into the relationship. And if you're still in the relationship now, the worst by far is yet to come, unfortunately, because once you get into the relationship at this stage, things start to change. And they start to change basically because you're a normal human being. And all normal human beings have flaws, let's face it. So when you start to question any aspect of the narcissist's behavior or personality, that worries them because there's a danger now that you're going to actually see through them. And so their anger and their discomfort starts to simmer beneath the surface. And basically, you're not this perfect person that they fabricated you to be, but now you're also daring to question them. You're daring to point out that they're not perfect. And they're going to make you regret this. So what they generally do is they'll start devaluing you and you'll start feeling really bad. And the magic slowly disappears. And all that happiness and joy that you felt in the early days of the relationship, that all starts to evaporate and you realize that you're feeling deeply unhappy most of the time. And of course, there will be the occasional love bomb crumb to remind you of the golden period, but that's designed to keep you hooked. And it's also the prime cause of trauma bonding, which I'll talk about later in the series. Now, before you get to the stage of feeling totally worthless, emotionally wrung out, financially devastated, and before you succumb to anxiety, depression, insomnia, CPTSD, and all the many other emotional and psychological issues associated with the fallout of narcissistic abuse, there are several more red flags that, had you known about them, it might have saved you from years of heartache and pain. So in this next chunk of the book and of the series, there's the devaluing stage, which is what I'm going to talk about. And there are actually 14 red flags that I'm covering in this chunk. So do tune in regularly so that you get to see all of those as well. Okay? So red flag number 27, kicking off this part of it, that you really need to look out for, is that you'll notice that this person is always checking their phones, and they'll be very furtive about their phones or their laptops or their computers. They're very secretive. They might be texting a lot or walking outside to take a call and then just telling you, it was just work or it was nothing important whenever you ask about it. You'll also notice very often that they never let their phone out of their sight, even taking it into the bedroom with them and sleeping with it under their pillows. Who does that, you might wonder? Narcissists do, okay? If you notice that, be on the alert. Another thing is you're never allowed to look at their phone. If you ever try, because maybe you have a genuine reason for just picking up their phone. Maybe it's ringing and they're in the bathroom or something, so you pick it up to maybe go and hand it to them or even to answer it. And if they see you do this or catch you doing this, you'll likely find that the phone gets snatched out of your hands, that you get screamed and shouted at and told to never touch their property, and it will be completely out of proportion, okay? They'll then guilt trip you and make you feel like a snoop. They'll accuse you of, spying on them. All sorts of nonsense will come out if you ever do that. So be on the lookout for that, because that's just not a normal way to react, Now, you'll also notice that there's similar kind of furtive behavior, as I said, around their computers or laptops. So they tend to always have it positioned so that you can't see what's on screen. Or they'll quickly change tabs, or they'll shut the lid of the laptop if you happen to come over to them and they're working on their computer or laptop. And this is where it gets interesting, and again, huge flags. When it comes to your phone or your PC or your laptop, however, it's open season. And remember that they have this massive sense of entitlement that, that's just wired into them. That gives them every right, as far as they're concerned, to not only look at your devices whenever they feel like it, but also to to demand that you give them your passwords to all your private stuff, even bank accounts. And this might sound absurd to some of you, but believe me, I am seeing this happening all the time from the people in my groups, people I've worked with. This happens. It makes my hair stand on end that people are coerced into doing this. And if you find this shocking, just trust me when I tell you, this happens all the time. So the narcissist believes that they have a right to know everything going on with you, but you do not have the same rights with them. It's always one set of rules for them and another set for you. And they also have this keen sense of injustice to themselves, that the slightest little infraction is like grounds for World War III, but they have absolutely none of that when it comes to you. So you'll see that they have these two completely different yardsticks when it comes to their expectations of you and what you can expect from them. But what's far scarier is that they're actually able to convince you with their coercive controlling methods, or with their love bombing, or with a combination of these types of things. They'll convince you to the point that you actually would hand over your passwords. And then you give up your right, not only to your last shreds of privacy, but you also can put yourself in financial chaos, because they can access your bank, and they can and do take money out, and they can leave you with nothing. It happens all the time. So very quickly, how to avoid the trap? Absolutely, things you can do. The minute you notice this type of behavior, ask yourself the obvious question: what are they hiding? Now, the truth of the matter is, if someone is secretive about their phone and their laptop computer, and you notice this, and you can even push it. If you're not actually sure and you think maybe I imagined it or made it up, make a point to actually prove it to yourself. Go get their phone, do something about it so that you can be in their face when they're on their computer, and see how they react. And when they react in ways that I've just said, they don't want you to see it, they try to brush it off, they have a go at you, any of these things, just realize this behavior is indicative of deceit. They are hiding something. So they're either texting or sexting or chasing current or potential targets, planning and scheming behind your back. This is what they do, and quite often, because remember, they are unconscionable people, they'll be doing this right in front of your face, albeit keeping their device, out of your vision. And they have the gall to do this because basically narcissists are serial cheaters, they are pathological liars. If they're on their PC a lot and they're very careful not to ever let you see what they're doing, you can guarantee that they're on dating sites or porn sites, or they're communicating with various potential or current new targets, or it could be a combination of any of those things. And then the next thing to do is ask yourself, why should they have unfettered access to your phone and your PC and even your passwords? What's going on with that? Why should they have that kind of access while you are completely denied any to their, insight into their little digital world? What is going on here is that they want to control every aspect of your life. They believe that they own you. And this is scary, but it's true. and that you have no right to privacy. So ask yourself, where is the fairness or the justice in all of this? And the answer is quite simply, there is none. So see this for what it is. And again, ask yourself, is this acceptable to you? Are you going to put up with this for the rest of your life? Or however long the relationship lasts? Because that's exactly what they will expect. And they will keep taking more and more of your life away from you. They will isolate you. They will stop you from seeing your friends. They will start even talking about how you should dress, how you should behave around other people. It becomes completely suffocating so that you lose your entire identity. And again, it happens all the time. So you just don't want to let this happen to you. Now, you can try setting boundaries in the beginning. And these are things you've got to do, and you're going to be testing the waters to a degree because they're not going to like this. And this is another flag within a flag, if you will. So you can try setting boundaries that they have no access to your phone or your PC. They just don't. And you never, ever give them your passwords. And if they have a problem with any of these things and they try to sweet talk you, and they will. Oh, but I want to just know everything about you, and I want to make sure you're safe, and I want to keep you protected, and all this BS, you will get all of that. You still do not give in. Never, ever give anyone your passwords unless you would trust them with your very life. And I know, I just add a little caveat there, I know that often by the time you do share your passwords, you've actually gotten to the point where you believe you actually can trust this person. They may have worked you over to a degree that you think you really can. And this happens with married couples, that you're thinking, well, this is my husband or my wife. Of course I'm going to share my passwords with her. And if you saw my last video in the series, I talked about how they financially abuse you. And one of the things I talked about in that video was to never leave yourself exposed to financial ruin or exploitation by completely handing access to all your accounts to someone else. And what I said on that video is, if you have a relationship and it's fair that you share joint expenses, you by all means have a joint bank account and you put X amount of money to cover all the bills and expenses and what have you. Jointly, you put that money into a joint account. But you always keep your own separate bank account and savings accounts. Don't ever share that, because you're leaving yourself open to exploitation if you do. Even if you think the marriage is super trustworthy, because they can go on deceiving you for years and years and years. I know it's horrible, but it's true. So always protect yourself. Always keep that valuable nest egg out of anyone else's hands, okay? And then coming back to, while you're still in all this evaluation stage, looking out for this flag, you're going to step back, always step back and just clear your head and think, well, why is this person doing this? Evaluate these processes. And then ask yourself, do you want to be with someone who you really can't trust and who clearly doesn't trust you, doesn't want you to live your own life or have your own independence? And you can be independent within a very loving, happy relationship. So I'm not suggesting otherwise. Behavior like this it's disrespectful, and it's another form of subtle abuse, because these little things slowly build up, and one day you'll realize that you've lost all control and you don't recognize yourself anymore. So my advice always, if you spot these flags early on, is get out. Absolutely get out while you still have your sanity intact. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back again soon with more red flags. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that flag useful to know about. So my name's Maria McMahon. I'm a clinical NLP hypnotherapist, and I help women and men who are trying to overcome narcissistic abuse. I have 2 Facebook groups. One is for guys, it's private group, guys only. One is for women, also private group, women only. So what I'll do is I'll put a link below the video, some links about how you'd like, if you wanted to connect with me, how you'll be able to connect with me. I'll also put a link to the book, which is currently on Amazon for just 99 cents, so it's pretty cheap. Now, if you found this video helpful, please like and comment and subscribe and come back soon for more red flags, because every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday I'll be posting until I get through all the 50. Okay, so thank you very much again, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.